Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. My name is Nurul Ira Safia binti Maisa from the Group 8 OIKONOMIA. Will talk about the money demand and interest rate equilibrium with my team members Muhammad Shazan bin Yusof, Lim Bui Hian, Tan Ziyan and Farah. So for the introduction for this chapter, we can say that people are keeping money as their asset and to make purchases. Interest rate and income are factors that affect demand for money. Interest rate is the expense or charge that the debtor pays to the creditor for a loan. Money demand analysis can be categorized as classical or Keynesian. So for the first point, which is classical money demand, quantity of money theory refers to how many times money circulates among society in a year, and real money theory refers to how long the money is held in cash by society before making a purchase. So for the second point, which is Keynesian money demand, Keynesian money demand theory exists due to Keynes' belief that people hold money for a second period of time due to two factors. First, concern non-synchronization of income and expenditure. Second, concern uncertainties in economic situation. Presently, discussion will only focus on Keynesian analysis. For this slide, it shows about the Keynesian demand for money. It has 3 points, which is transaction motive, precautionary motive and speculative motive. For the transaction motive, it relates to the role of money as a means of exchange, and it has positive relationship with income and no relationship with interest rate. For the second one, which is precautionary motive, it relates to the function of money as a store of value and have positive relationship with income and no relationship with interest rate. For the third one, which is speculative motive, people may hold their financial asset in corporate stock or government bond instead of money, and it has negative relationship with interest rate. So this slide shows about the graph, and the left graph was a transaction demand. People need money for everyday transactions like buying groceries, and this demand doesn't change with interest rate. It's a fixed amount. And then the middle graph, it is an asset demand. People also hold money as an asset which they might save or invest. This demand changes with interest rate. When interest rates are high, people hold less money because they prefer to invest it to earn interest. When interest rates are low, people hold more money since they earn less from the investment. And then the right graph was a total money demand. The total demand for money is the sum of transaction demand and asset demand. It shows how much money people want to hold at different interest rates.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Shazan bin Yusof. My number metric is 298028. Today, I would like to present Keynesian money demand curve. As you can see, this curve is downward sloping, showing a negative relationship between interest rate, which is R, and amount of money, which is M. Determinant of money demand. The demand for money is driven by interest rate, which is R, and income or nominal GDP, which is Y. Money demand can also be influenced by price level, assuming it is not constant. So we have 3 determinants of money demand. Number 1 is interest rate, income, and price level. So the first determinant of money demand is interest rate. Interest rate is an earning of holding bonds or opportunity cost of keeping money or cash. Then interest rate is negatively related, especially with money demand for speculation. As you can see this figure shows that at interest rate, which is R0, money demand is M0 at point A. This implies that at a higher interest rate, people prefer holding bonds or less money and vice versa. If interest rate decreases to R1, the quantity of money demand increase to M1, which is at point B. Thus, this figure indicates that the switch in interest rate leads to an alteration in the quantity of money demand, as can be seen in the movement through the demand curve of money. Okay, so we move to income. Income and money demand for transaction are positively related, hence also positively related with total money demand. This figure shows that the initial money demand curve is money demand 0, Y0 and R0 at interest rate R0 and quantity of demand M0. Okay, so assuming government expenditure increases, thus national income increases to Y1. Increase in income leads to an increase in consumption, and money demand for transaction also increases. Then, this in turn results in a shift to the right of the money demand curve, which is money demand 1 at interest rate R0 and the quantity of money increased to M1. Conversely, the money demand curve shifts to the left, which is money demand 2 at interest rate, and the quantity of money increased to M2. In addition, the change in price level, which is P, has similar outcome, which is positively related with demand for money. When price level increases, people need more money, thus demand for money increases. So this leads to the rightward shift of the money demand curve and vice versa.
Good day everyone, my name is Norzilah and now I would like to introduce about interest rate equilibrium. Interest rate equilibrium is calculated in the money market. It occurs when the quantity of demanded equals to the quantity of money supplied in the economy, which is MD equals to MS. Based on the graph, we can see that equilibrium interest rate levels occurs when money demand MD intersects with money supply curve, which is MS. When the interest rate R1 is above the equilibrium rate R0, the quantity of money supply MS is greater than the quantity of money demand MD, leading to a surplus of money supply at M1 M0. When the interest rate R2 is below the equilibrium rate R0, the quantity of money supply MS is lower than the quantity of money demand MD, resulting in a surplus of money demand at M0 and 2. Now, I'd like to share about what happens when there is a change in money demand. When government expenditure increases, the income will increase, leading to a higher consumption. These result in an increased demand for money for transactions, causing the money demand curve to shift rightward from MD0 to MD1. At R0, the surplus of money demand at M0 and 1 leads to an increase in interest rate to R1. The quantity of money demand falls until equilibrium, which is MD0 equals to MS0 is achieved. In this case, the interest rate increased from R0 to R1, but the quantity of money remains at M0.
Hi everyone, my name is Lim Wei Hian. I'll continue presenting the change in the money supplies. So in the graph, you can see that the initial equilibrium where the quantity of money demands equal to the quantity of money supply, which is the MD0 equal to the MS0s at the point E0, interest rate R0s, and the quantity of money M0s. And then the central bank reduce the required reserve ratios, which is the RRR, will lead to the money supply in the economy increase. Then the money supply curve will shift to the right, which is the MS1 at the interest rate R0s. There's an excess of money supply, or the quantity of money supply is greater than the quantity of money demand, which is the MS greater than the MD by the amount of the M0 M1. Because of this equilibriums cause the interest rate to fall, and the amount of speculative money as well as the total money demand is increased. This adjustment process continues until equilibrium is achieved at the E1, which is the MD01 equal with the MS1. So conversely, the curve moves to the leftward in the event of the contractionary monetary. Okay, so I will continue discussing the short-run effects of change in the supplies of money. So initially, the interest is 5% a year. And if the central bank increase the quantity of the money, people will be holding more money than the quantity demanded, then what they do? They buy bond. Then the increased demands for bond raise the bond price and lower the interest rate. The increased demand for the bond will lead to the money supply curve shift to the right, which is MS0 to MS1, and will cause the interest rate become lower. That's all for me. Thank you.
So, Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Farah Elisa binti Ahmad and my metric number is 299673. So right now we will continue on presenting the next slide, which is a simultaneous change in money demand and money supply. So as you can see, that graph is shown the graph of equilibrium of interest rate and change in money demand and money supply. So money demand and supply could change simultaneously. Which means that it could change in the same time or in the same period. So as what I have shown in the graph, initial equilibrium in the money market is MD0. MD0 equal to MS0. Okay, it's at point of equilibrium 0, which is the interest rate 0 and quantity of money 0. So the blue line is actually the original curve of for the initial equilibrium interest rate and change in money of demand and supply. So we assume that the economy is increasing. So this implies that the nominal GDP, or Y is the GDP, also increase. Then the money demand curve moves to the right, which is money demand MD1. Although during the same period, the central bank introduced a monetary stimulus, so money supply will rise. So the money supply curve will shift to the right. Okay, so from the red curve to the purple curve. And assuming the transition for both curves are equal, at equilibrium 1, a new equilibrium is reached where interest rate is restored at interest rate 0. So while the quantity of money increases to quantity of money 1. Okay, so yeah, that's all.
So to conclude this subtopic, which is money supply and money demand, and also in money market equilibrium. So in the context of money supply and the money market equilibrium, so for money supply is the total amount of money available in an economy at a particular point in time. So it is usually controlled by the central bank through mechanisms such as adjusting interest rates, reserve requirements, and open market operations. So for money demand, so this is a desire to hold cash or liquid assets rather than investing them. So it can depend on factors like interest rates, income levels, and also economic activity. And lastly is the money market equilibrium. So this occurs when the quantity of money demanded equals to the quantity of money supplied. And at this point, the interest rates balance the preference for liquidity, which is holding cash, with the available money supply. So in simple terms, money market equilibrium is achieved when the central bank's supply for money aligns with the public's demand for money, typically reflected in stable interest rates. So that's all from our group. Thank you.